Hello, I'm Shams. This is Shams Realm, and today I'm going to be doing a review of JPEGMafia's latest album, LP. This album came out about, I think exactly a week ago today, and I've heard it about 7 or 8 times, and I have a lot of thoughts on it, so we're just gonna get into it. So the album starts off with Trust, which is a nice mellow intro with some optimistic, cruisy bars, getting us into the album. Nothing too severe or impactful here, just a nice little song. The second song, Dirty, is sort of in a similar vein for like the first half of it, but then in the second half it really kicks in and we get a lot of intensity and energy that JPEGMafia is known for. On this song, Peggy is rapping over this beautiful twinkling production, talking about rappers he feels aren't good enough, aren't on his level, and how they shouldn't be getting attention and stuff like that. A narrative he has explored before in the past for sure. Then we get the song Nemo, which has production that sounds like a Animal Crossing type beat. End credits is the first like big shock in the track list when I listened to it for the first time. It starts off with this crazy introduction with, I assume, like some wrestler or something, where he's talking about like, oh, when you get pulled over, you just you're like, oh, please don't hurt me. You know what I do? I pull out my gun and I shoot you in the head. Pretty crazy. That leads into like a pretty crazy anthemic, sort of like rock inspired beat, and I can just imagine this as like a concert song and Peggy just like dancing all over this great stage and just rapping. Something just fell. Anthemic song, really like it. It gets pretty introspective when Peggy says, loss is a theme of my life after the steam and the hype. It's a pretty good bar. Amazing rhyme scheme too, but it starts like introspection, talking about loss and how big he's become, which he gets into more, and I'll tell you my thoughts about that a bit later. What kind of rapping is this? Is the next song, the 5th song, and it's another mellow song. It's very trap inspired, and I really like it. It's very laid back, it's very fun, it's very tongue-in-cheek with its references and its lyrics. He mentions the song Covered in Money too, which is pretty cool. I think he calls himself a prostitute, something like that. Thots Prayer is probably one of the most incredible songs on the album. It very notably interpolates Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. Peggy sings it and it works really well. The melodies, the introspection, this sort of a bit of a sad song, and it starts a bit of a wave on the album with that. And Peggy has these really pitched up vocal. He sounds complete, like very unlike himself, sort of like a much more, I don't know, like innocent way, sort of like what Frank Ocean did on Blonde. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting, the vocals and the introspection on this track. The production is gospel inspired too, with of course the R&B pop, and it starts off with a little religious sample or whatever, which is pretty interesting. Are You Happy was probably my favorite song on the first listen. It's still incredible. It starts off with this introspective intro of like talking about happiness, and the beat slowly builds in really well. I like how it all comes in, and this song is just incredible. No other song sounds like it. I'm truly blown away by it and how incredible the production is on this song. The introspection continues, the sadness with Peggy discussing his life and his place in the world. R.I.P. Doom. The next song, Rebound, sort of shifts away from the past couple songs, like being really deep and introspective, to just like an absolute outright banger. This song just goes fucking insane with like a crazy beat, crazy rapping. I love how hard it is. A nice like funky outro too, which is really cool. JPEGMafia is a feature. I'm not really familiar with him, if I'm being honest, but he works really well over Peggy's production, and this song like really highlighted just how amazing Peggy is at writing. He like really chops the shit out of his verses, and like he interrupts himself and comes in stuff like that, censors a bunch, but it still like flows so smoothly, which is such like a rare talent, and is like such a sign that he's really mastered his craft in my opinion. It's just so petty and like selfish and like bragging. He talks about how his like enemies and he's like, all the things you're doing to your girl, I wish you were doing them to me. And like all these threats be making me hard. Huzzah. Pretty crazy. Pretty funny guy. Amazing song. Yeah, I really loved it. OG is, it has like a 30-second intro, and then like Peggy comes in rapping. He's talking about his label and how he's gonna have everything under his own control. He's gonna be an OG. Damn 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 is the next song, and Percy Jackson. He mentions his crazy workload and all that he's been doing, like dropping so many albums. It reminds me of the song Last Dance from EP2, which is pretty cool. Sick, Nervous and Broke is one of the most important songs on the album, and one of the best. It is also one of the longest. It features like some flows that Peggy has done before. Reminds me a lot of the song Party I Missed You of All My Heroes Are Cornballs. Pretty comfortable in terms of like flows and but the production still amazing and innovative. Yeah, we get a lot of introspection and reflection on the song, talking about like being in the military, giving dick to all his sergeants, stuff like that. It does a reference to Black Band Carson and also Batman Beyond. And the song ends with like a nice little duet. I'm not sure who it's with, some lady. And it's a bit like a peek behind the curtains at like what the album's like, and it's a real raw moment. I really loved it. Kissy Face Emoji, BMT, and Nice. The next three songs, they're on the shorter side, and they have a really like militaristic sound and like chanting and beats in that sound. It really reminded me of like when you're marching. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, some great intensity on BMT. Some really smooth flows. The Ghost of Ranking Dread is the closer for the album, and it's incredible. I loved it. It has such a strong sense of finality. The song has some mellow and sort of feminine production, and I just love how Peggy's rapping on this. He says like, you blow your face for the gram, I blow your face for forensics. I absolutely love that line. I smile every time I hear it. I always replay the song just to catch that line. It's sort of like a garden path sentence, which is really cool for like a bar. But yeah, I love the line. Always go back for it. But yeah, as like the closer, this is really good. Yeah, the next songs, Bold Remix and Cutie Pie are from EP1, and they're good songs. I like them. I was a bit disappointed in this, but the offline version has like different songs and has a duty pay. Yeah, if you're listening to the streaming online version, you'll get these songs, which you've probably already heard, but they're good songs. I sort of wish Bold and the Denzel Curry version were like smushed together, and we can get like an ultimate version, and then another song. I feel like that'd be cool. Cutie Pie being on here is great because it's probably the funkiest JPEGMafia song he'd done, and I absolutely love it. I love the beat. I love the flow. I like his hushed, like secret tone. Yeah, I'll probably mostly stick with the offline version. Okay, so this album overall has been like a massive step for Peggy in terms of production. He's always been innovating and changing his sound in a lot of ways. Just like even just from Veteran to now, it's been crazy. All My Heroes Are Cornballs focused more on like R&B and pop sounds, added that to like the harshness of Veteran, and this adds some more like reggae and funk sounds, which is really cool, and I'm quite a big fan of that. It works really well, and this has such like a unique texture to it. It's really a lot at times, and it really works. Peggy has proven himself as like a master with everything he does, and I'm glad he's constantly innovating and changing his sound, and this works really well as an album. Production wise, growing, very cool. There was a lot of reflection and introspection on this album. It felt a lot like the culmination of everything artistically and personally JPEGMafia has been going through just his entire life. He talks about his time in the military, he talks about his label and his work, self-doubt, and there's a lot of like machoism and like bragging, and a lot of it comes off as like a bit of insecurity, maybe, and that's quite interesting. Another thing that came up surprisingly a lot was religion, and he talks about like prayer and has some gospel influence on a few songs. Thots Prayer, yeah. It's pretty interesting, and I caught it a bunch. Like, it's a pretty ongoing thread throughout the entire album, but I couldn't really understand what it meant, because Peggy isn't like really religious, and I'm not sure like what he's getting at, or if he's trying to make a statement, or if he's just like a fan of like the aesthetics of it. Jesus forgive me, I'm a thought, and praise the motherfucking Lord.
Praise the motherfucking Lord. So I've always wanted to have a song where I say praise the motherfucking Lord. I don't know why, I just find that phrase to be funny, because it shouldn't exist. Like, if you show that sentence to a certain sect of people, they'd be like, get that out of my face, it's offensive.
I'm not sure what he's getting at, but it could just be for like the cool of it. But yeah, I noticed that introspection, common thread, talking about his life, discussing everything, taking people to task who he feels aren't up to his level. Like, there's a big like ego thing, and like he's really owned. He's the only person who makes music that sounds like him, and he's proven himself again to be one of the most innovative and forward-thinking rappers, or just artists in general. No one else is doing what he's doing, and it sounds incredible. It's so detailed, it's so well laid. This album has so much going for it that you could listen to it time and time again in like a short amount of time and still catch new things. And I'm just like astounded at what I could think of it upon like further reflection. But yeah, what did you think about this album? What did you think about the religious themes? If you have like any idea what it was maybe getting at, leave it in the comments. We can have a bit of a discussion. But yeah, what were your favorite songs? What didn't you like about this? I'm not sure what Peggy's gonna do next. He's probably gonna take a break. He's been yeah, he talks about like being overworked a bit on this album. But yeah, just really incredible, cohesive, beautiful album. I'm thinking like a mid-9, closer to a 9 than a 10, but maybe in the future. Who knows? I'm really excited to like listen to this more, get into it more. But yeah, I'm also excited to see what you have to say. I have a reaction to the Visions of Bodies Being Burned by Clipping that dropped last year. I have top 20 albums of last year too.